PLCs and safety. It's always important to remember that the PLC is still an electrical switchgear. Also, always remember that the voltage and the current limitations of the PLC will determine the requirements of the type of circuit that is being connected. Specific aspects of the OHS Acts that are applicable to PLCs are Section 13, 14 and 24. Section 13, the duty to inform. The employer will cause every employee to be made conversant with the hazards to his health and the safety attached to any work which he has to perform, and inform a health and safety representative of the occurrence of an incident in the workplace. Section 14, general duties of employees at work. You are to take care for the health and safety of yourselves, cooperate with the employer or person allocated to enable that duty or requirement to be performed, carry out any lawful order given to you, and obey the health and safety rules. If a situation which is unsafe or unhealthy comes to your attention, it must be reported to the employer. If you are involved in an incident which may affect your health, report such an incident to your employer. Section 24, must report to the inspector regarding certain incidents. Following needs to be reported. Any person dies, becomes unconscious, suffers the loss of limb or part of a limb, or is otherwise injured or becomes ill to such a degree that he is likely to either die or suffer a permanent physical defect, or likely to be unable for work for a period of at least 14 days, either work or continue with the activity for which he was employed or is usually employed. A major incident occurred, or the health and safety of a person was endangered where a dangerous substance was spilled, the uncontrolled release of a substance, or machinery or part thereof fractured or failed, or a machinery ran out of control. The Electrical Installation Regulation, Section 2, its responsibility for electrical installations. The user or lessor of an electrical installation shall be responsible for the safe use and maintenance of an electrical installation he or she uses or leases, and the user or lessor of an electrical installation shall be responsible for the safety of the conductors on his or her premises. The Electrical Machinery Regulation, Section 4, work on disconnected electrical machinery. An employer or user shall, wherever work is to be carried out on an electrical machine which has been disconnected from all sources of electrical energy, precautions to be taken by means of earthing. Section 5, notice. Notices must include the prohibit of unauthorized persons from entering the premises, unauthorized persons from handling or interfering with electrical machinery, must contain directions of procedure in case of fire, and contain directions of how to resuscitate a person suffering from the effects of electric shock. Switchgear and transformer premises. An employer shall cause an enclosed premises housing switchgear and transformers to be of an ample size as to provide clear working space, to be sufficiently ventilated to maintain the equipment at a safe working temperature, to be constructed so as to be proof against rodents, leakage, seepage and flooding, to be proved with lighting so that will enable all equipment through fares and work areas to be clearly distinguished, to have doors or gates which can be readily opened from the inside, opening outwards, to be provided with fire extinguishing appliances or systems which are suitable for the use on electrical machinery and which are maintained in good working order, to be of such that persons cannot touch bare conductors or expose live parts of electrical machinery. No person other than a person authorized thereto by the employer or user shall enter or be required or permitted by the employer or user to enter premises housing switchgear or transformers unless all live conductors are insulated against inadvertent contact or are screened off. Electrical control gear. An employer or user shall provide all electrical machinery with controlling apparatus or protective devices which shall be capable of automatically isolating the power supply in the event of a fault developing on such machinery. No employer or user shall place a switch, circuit breaker or fuse in a neutral conductor of a polyphase alternating current unless such switch is so arranged as to isolate all phase conductors and the neutral conductors simultaneously. The employer or user shall provide switchgear with an interlocking device so arranged that the door or cover of the switch cannot be opened unless the switch is in the off position and cannot be switched on unless the door is covered, unless the door or cover is locked. Apologies. The employer or user shall mark or label all controlling apparatus permanently so as to identify the system or part of the system or the electrical machinery which it controls. And the employer or user shall post a notice at switchgear or control gear which has been switched off and locked out.